How did we become software engineers? We used to write code, and then if something goes wrong, we used to debug them, and that is how we became software engineers. Please note, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the debugging part, because while debugging only, you got to understand what kind of software design will be resilient over time, what kind of software design or maybe software practices, what kind of coding practices will make the software resilient so that it avoids bugs altogether. What kind of code is bug prone or error prone and is not a good practice, or what kind of code is a good practice. If you write them, you will have peace of mind going over. A lot of things we used to learn while writing code, and even more of the learnings used to come from debugging the code. This is the story that I was told when I started my career in IT. And this is the reality, and this is the mantra I have lived by for last 10 years. And this is what I have been recommending, and this is the story I have been telling to the newcomers in the industry who have been junior to me or whoever reached out to me for advice. But the reality has now changed. The approach I told you, that is so 2025. In 2026, things are very different. You no longer write code by hand. You ask AI to write it down for you. Sometimes you give it a vague idea, what kind of software you want, what kind of architecture you want. And many times you don't even give it the architecture, you just give it a problem statement. It reads the code base and it writes code for you. There's a lot of advantage of using AI. The primary advantage is the significant productivity boost. But there's a trade-off also. The relationship between a developer and his code is getting weaker and weaker. When we were writing code by hand, we would know which file does what kind of things. We would know why certain validations are there. We used to know what weird test cases or real world use cases will break which kind of code. There may be that the code may not be as perfect as the code written, nowadays. It may have some design flaws, but those flaws were debated upon. There were conscious decisions why every file exists and why every class exists, or why every function exists, or why every pattern was implemented. Everything used to be debated upon. It was highly deliberate. Everything was intentional. Now reality has changed. A lot of the times I see people who don't even know what kind of class AI has written. They just test it out and they ship it to production. And no doubt it has given us a lot of productivity boost. But the point I'm making is not a productivity boost. The point I'm making is that the relationship between the code and a developer, it has become weaker over the time. And anyways, writing code was never the toughest part of the job or the only part of software development. It was even earlier, writing code was a small portion of the entire software construction. There used to be requirement gathering, and even before requirement gathering, you used to, deliberate upon why you need a particular software or what kind of problem you are solving. You used to start with a problem statement, then what portion of that problem you want to solve. To solve that problem, what kind of software you want to build. And once you have decided upon what kind of software you want to build, you used to gather requirements, exact requirement, what the end user is going to be, what all he will need, right? Then you used to develop software. And even after development, there has to be testing, maintenance, and a lot of things. And even development is never that straightforward. You develop software, you test it out in the real world, you try different combinations, you do A/B testing, you keep on iterating upon those software which you develop. And a number of processes used to be involved in this process. Now the writing code part, the part in which you write code has gotten significant productivity boost due to AI. Again, this is debatable. Some people think that productivity boost is not there. Whether AI has given a productivity boost or no is debatable, because some people think that AI has slowed people down. For example, if you want to rename a file, you ask AI to rename a file and update all the imports. It will take several minutes. Earlier, in the VS Code or whatever editor you are using, you can simply right click on a file, rename it, and it would automatically, the imports and everything will be updated. You can do that even now, but because we are habituated of getting things done by chatting through AI, even the mundane task you do with AI, and it has, in some situation, rather than increasing, it has reduced productivity. But it's debatable, and on a large scale, or if you look at it on a holistic level, AI seemed to have given productivity boost. The other aspects of software development or the software construction has gotten increased. For example, now you can write more code, so you will try to develop more products. Because you are able to write more code, you will have to do more testing. Because you are able to write more code, you have to do more planning of what software you want to build. Because you can write more code, you have to maintain more code. Because you can write more code using AI, you have to have a better marketing, you have to have a better delivery of this software to the end user. Even in pre-AI world, reviewing code was itself very challenging. Somebody sent you a 10-file code, you have to understand each and every part of the code before you can give it a handoff that, okay, things are working good. That was even challenging. But after the advent of AI, or after the arrival of AI in 2026, people are making even bigger PRs. They are writing bigger PRs. By the look of the code, if you look at the code, you will certainly be able to say, okay, this is an AI generated code. And the moment you see an AI generated PR, suddenly your interest drops. You no longer want to review that PR, which is 3x of what, or maybe 4x of what it used to be earlier. And because of AI, people are writing more code, they are sending more PRs. Your time is limited, your bandwidth is limited, but the PRs are getting bigger and bigger. Another way to look at AI is that in pre-AI world, junior developers used to write code, test it out, and send the PR to senior people, and they used to have take a look at the code. Many times, senior would be writing a different part of the entire software, but once you send the PR, they would be able to review and provide you guidance, and they should be able to find out some issues or something. So responsibility used to be majorly lying with the senior folks. And the younger folks and the junior folks, they would write code and they would have a lesser responsibility. But after the, after the advent of AI, things have changed. Even the junior folks, because they're writing so much code, and they're not even writing the code, they're getting AI to write the code. So they have to be responsible for what AI has written, and so they have to learn the art of reviewing the PRs. So in a way, you can see that the responsibility, which earlier used to be very seniority oriented, now they are trickling down even to the junior folks, and everyone has to learn how to review PRs. And in a way, everyone is forced to have the senior level responsibility, but without the experience that they used to get earlier. Another aspect to look at AI is that earlier, we used to own what we used to write, but the things have pretty much changed now. You don't write code the way you used to, but you still have to own the code which AI has written. And so it's an extra responsibility on every engineer who is using AI to write code. And this again reiterates the same fact that you are given, everyone is given senior level responsibility without the experience. I've talked a lot about what kind of impact AI has on development, software development, and how AI has forced everyone to behave like a senior guy. But still, and despite all those rant or monologue, I'll still have some advice to give to the younger folks or everyone. The advices would be like, use AI as much as possible. Because this is the new reality. You cannot run away from AI. So use AI. Improve your productivity if you can. In situations where AI is not improving your productivity, you have to adopt other tricks or maybe other tools. But if AI is giving you productivity boost, don't shy away from it. Use it as much as you can, and that is good. That is okay. Don't complain about it. Learn to use it. AI is important. But apart from using the AI, I would ask you not to become a handicapped engineer. Don't be handicapped who cannot work without AI. If your cloud subscription has ended, then you should not be sitting idle waiting for the time to pass. Now you need those fundamentals more than ever, because everyone is forced to have the responsibility or have the senior level responsibility, so your fundamentals must be correct. You should know how the software is designed, software is constructed. You should know the design patterns. You should know the design philosophies. You should be good with syntax. You should be good with all the things that earlier senior folks used to learn. Or not just learn, but practice. You should know how to scale a software. You should know why you create classes. You should know why you create microservices. You should know why you don't create microservices and go with the monolith. You should know in which situation caching is needed, in which situation caching is not needed, how you scale databases. What is in which situation you go for horizontal scaling of databases, in which situation you go for vertical scaling of databases, in which situation you need Kubernetes, in which situation you don't need Kubernetes. What are the situations that require cron jobs to be running? What are the situations that require a cloud function, a Lambda to be running? You should be thorough with all those fundamentals, because AI will increase your speed. AI will give you productivity speed. Because AI is giving you speed, if you do mistakes, you will do bigger mistakes. And so your fundamentals have to be correct so that you are able to achieve net positivity or net positive gain of AI. So the one advice which I have to give to people who are entering software industry or people who are in the software industry but are looking for some advice is to make your fundamentals impeccable. Spend time learning fundamentals. Be really good at fundamentals so that the productivity gain which AI provides you, that is channeled in the positive direction. Because you are running at a very high speed. If you run in the right direction, you cover a lot of distance. But if you start running in the wrong direction, negative direction, you are going much more negative. Because AI is giving you speed. Direction becomes important, and direction will only come from fundamentals. If I talk about the shift, if I talk about how industry is shifting, one thing is certain, that writing software in hand is so 2025. In future, we won't be writing software by hand. That's given, and we have to accept that. But we also have to accept that we have to be really good to take real advantage of AI. With these words, I'll end this monologue. Maybe we'll talk again someday later. Bye-bye. Take care.